Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video we're going to be talking about primers. Let's just get started. Alright, let's talk a little bit about primers. I got three different types of primers right here. There's more, but I'm going to talk about the basic primers and what you actually need. Now, this car, the Buick Regal, I did sand it down to bare metal because I just wanted to start from scratch right there. Now, there's a lot of bare metal. There's body work. All this white that you see right there is not the white paint of the car. This is primer. This is the actual paint right here. There's bare metal in several different spots. So what I'm going to be using direct to metal primer, DTM. Alright, right here I got some DTM primer. I have some high solids primer filler, and I got some sealer primer. What are the differences? Now if you have bare metal like I do, there's several things you can do. There's a primer called self-etching primer, epoxy primer also, which is also can be used to protect the metal, to protect the bare metal. Okay, when you apply self-etching primer or epoxy primer, on the epoxy primer and self-etching primer, you do have to add a different kind of primer. Let's say primer filler. That's to smooth it out. We'll sand it down whenever you're gonna be ready for the base coat. Now the DTM primer, you can use it on bare metal, on painted surfaces like I have over there, and this one you can actually sand. You can actually sand it. Now if you have body work, it's recommended to use a direct to metal. If you have places that you have bare metal and body work, you can use this one and just apply a little bit of the primer filler just to smooth everything out before the base coat. Alright, we talked about the direct to metal, we talked about the primer filler. The direct to metal was for, like it says, direct to metal primer. This is sandable. Primer filler, that's when you have body work but you don't have any bare metal showing. Apply some primer filler. Sandable, smooth it down, you can apply your base over it. Now let's talk about the sealer. The sealer, whenever you use sealer is primer, guys. Whenever you use it, I usually use it whenever I sand down the car and I have different types of paint showing, different types of colors showing, like here you can see different types of colors. It's best to use a sealer to have a uniform color all around. It's going to be a lot easier for you to paint. You're not going to have a lot of coats that you need to be applying. The sealer, they have it in a lot of different colors, so just get the color as close as possible to your actual color that's going to be, and you'll waste less paint doing it that way. Okay, so that's what the sealer is for. It's just to have a uniform color all around and have a primer. Right now I'm going to show you how I'm going to be applying the direct to metal primer, how I'm going to be mixing it so that I can apply it to this side of the car. I did take the fender off also, which is over there. I'm going to apply it too. So all this side of the car is going to be primered already. The top's primered already. So halfway done. Let me just mix it up and start applying that direct to metal primer. So just to recap, guys, about the primers: direct to metal, primer filler, and sealer. These are the basic three that you're going to need. Now if you want to do the self-etching and epoxy primer, perfect. Those two, you can use it on bare metal, but you do have to add some primer filler on top of it. Alright, so this is basically what I use. So let's just go mix up the direct to metal and apply it to the car. Alright, this one's mixed 4-to-1, so I look for my 4-to-1 right there and just mix it up. I almost didn't make it with the hardener, but there it is. It'll make it. There it is. I applied 3 coats of that Dtm primer. Now I can let it rest for about, let's say, a week or 2, sand it down, and apply my sealer on top of it. Yes, I am gonna apply sealer. Even though you can apply the base on top of this, I'm gonna apply sealer. You know why? It has a real good adhesion to the paint, so I'm gonna apply the sealer. Okay, now if you're gonna use, or if you're gonna sand a car and not finish it right away, let's say you're gonna sand it to bare metal and leave it for a while without you even touching it again, use direct to metal primer, or you can use epoxy primer or self-etching primer. The reason I recommend direct to metal is because this one's gonna be a lot easier for you to sand whenever you're ready or whenever you're gonna start working on the car again. So I recommend direct to metal. That way you can just scuff it down and start working on your car again. That's if you're gonna leave it for a while. Now, if you're gonna use self-etching or not direct to metal, self-etching or epoxy primer, it's best for you to apply it, then apply a primer filler on top of it. After 30 minutes of drying, apply a primer filler on top of it, so that you can have it ready to sand, because the epoxy primer and self-etching primer are real hard to sand. So I recommend you applying something else on top of it and go from there. That's one of the reasons I use direct to metal, because this is a lot easier to sand. The car's not going to be still finishing it up, so it's going to be like this for a little bit. So when I'm ready to sand it, I'll just take the DA, start sanding it, and it'll be good for me to start working on it. Which, if I would have just used the self-etching or the epoxy, it'll be a little bit harder. So I recommend the direct to metal. It'll work a lot better for you. Alright, and this will be it. This will be it for this video. I hope you now understand a little bit more about primers. And I'm just going to continue with the car. And we'll see you next coming weekend, guys. Alright, all the information and materials that I used are in the description below. Also, if you want to help the channel, there's some links below that you can help the channel, help support me. And thank you very much, guys. Alright, I really appreciate it. Watch at least one commercial from when the video starts. It helps out a lot also. And thank you. Alright, I'll see you next coming weekend. Like always, God bless.